panic-stricken. It's just so scary.
I'm going to have Martin pan off to the left. You're looking at a neighborhood that goes block after block after block that is completely and totally and overwhelmingly destroyed.
As we're talking about right now, this fire is unprecedented for the city of Santa Rosa. When we spoke with CAL FIRE earlier this morning, they said right now they have the fire estimated at 20,000 acres.
And you're looking at a scene that is probably reminiscent of hell. There's still some fires because
right here, as one resident described it, looks like hell on earth, and I would have to say that's a very accurate description of what we're looking down on. And if you can only imagine the number of lives that are impacted.
The damage here is amazing. Take a look behind me. This is a neighborhood. Not one house is still standing. You can see chimneys. You can see the pile of rubble. This goes on for blocks. And officials here say firefighters are facing conditions they've never seen before.
News alert: the governor declaring a state of emergency as wildfires rage across California wine country. The wind whipped flames destroying more than 1,000 homes and businesses and sparking evacuations all across the area. That includes hospitals. Claudia Cowan is live in Sonoma County to tell us more. Hi, Claudia.
Hi there, Shannon. Well, this was an iconic dairy that folks would see on their drive into Sonoma. It is still smoldering, and we just learned about a dozen sheep did not make it out. Here in wine country and beyond, the size and scope of this fire is simply astounding. It stretches from Calistoga to the north, to Napa to the east, and Santa Rosa to the west. More than 50,000 acres have burned, more than 1,500 structures damaged or destroyed in an area that is home to hundreds of thousands of people wondering if they'll have a home to come back to. Several separate fires just exploded overnight, starting with one 200-acre wildfire at about 10 p.m. to multiple fires that jumped mountain ridges and highways and prompted massive evacuations in Napa and Sonoma. We are now hearing harrowing accounts of people grabbing their kids and pets and racing out in the middle of the night, in some cases finding the road blocked by flames and having to double back to find another way out. The numbers are still coming in, but it's going to be bad.
We're looking at a fire that's impacted, hundreds, if not thousands of structures. We do know that there are structures that have been damaged or destroyed. We also do know that there have been civilians who've been injured. Right now, firefighters are on all hands on deck, one team force right now, trying to get some containment and also really getting out in front of this fire and evacuating people.
The damage especially severe in Santa Rosa, 54 miles north of San Francisco and home to 175,000 people. Flames engulfed at least 2 mobile home parks, as well as a Walmart and a gun shop, setting off loud explosions there. The flames pushed along by hot, dry conditions and punishing winds, gusts reaching up to 70 miles per hour. Evacuation centers are filling up fast. We understand some 20,000 people have been forced out of their homes. There are injuries, Shannon, as well as reports of residents who are missing. So this is a continuing story. Very fluid.
One of our crews, KTVU's Brooks Giroux, is at Range and Bicentennial in Santa Rosa. You're right across 101 from the Kaiser Center there, which was evacuated. And I see the devastation behind you.
Oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like this. Right behind me, this was part of a trailer park here, and you can see just home after home after home that is gone. There's nothing left. Fires still burning, many of these from the gas lines from each of those homes. You can see them right through here. It almost looks like a bomb went off here. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And it's not just limited to this trailer park either. Across the street over here, there is another building that is still burning, still on fire. I was told part of this was an event center. There's a furniture store that was untouched behind it, but the fire is still raging there. We've seen a lot of fire trucks coming up and down these roads right around here and just passing by the burning fires. Here comes a few, watch the water here, Here come a few more right now. They've just been going up and down this road. And people are out here lining the streets, taking pictures. It's really smoky. It's hard to breathe out here. There's CAL FIRE. I want to show you some other stuff around here too. The road 101 is closed, so getting to this point was a little bit difficult, but we did manage to squeeze our way in here. You can see this truck, nothing left of it, all burned, charred, and behind it, this place, fire's still burning here. A lot of people said at one point it was really dangerous where we're standing, and they're all lined up on an overpass down there watching and taking their cell phones. Just hard to believe the devastation. And we've only been here maybe 10 minutes, and just to look at all this and see hardly anything left of this business here. There are a couple safes you can see in this business that have survived, fireproof safes there, but that's really all remains. And it's hot out here. You can feel the flames still, and even in the back it was raging a little more earlier. So
Brooks, can I ask you, it looks, I don't see fire crews in these live pictures. It looks like they've moved on to some places they can save.
Yeah, I actually hear the sirens over and over and over again. Here comes some more, but they're rushing by us. So we have been told that they're more concerned about lives and not worried about structures at this point. So you can drive up and down many of these streets, and there are places just like this, burned out to the ground, and fire still visible, and they're passing right by them.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just took a look at that fire truck that ran right by you. That's from Gold Ridge.
Yes.
And that's up near Pollock Pines. So you think about how far the response is coming, and that's well east of Sacramento. So, you know, there really is a huge response from all over California and beyond.
And we actually followed several sheriff's deputies from the Oakland area all the way up here, and they are just helping with the traffic situation and here for, you know, assistance of some sort. But we followed a full line of them coming up here, and as we approached, the smoke got thicker, it got darker. I was wearing sunglasses when I left the East Bay and came up to the North Bay, and it's almost like you're in a fog, but it's the middle of the day here.
Brooks, do you get a sense, and I know you haven't been there long, but from folks starting to come up that they're almost like, what just happened? Yeah. Like, because there it looks like a calm situation. I mean, weather-wise, it looks a lot calmer than it used to be, but it's almost just like, did that really just happen? And there's nothing there at that location.
I think people are kind of how I'm feeling. You just can't believe it. This is like a scene out of a movie when a bomb goes off in your neighborhood, and this is what's left, and you're just lucky that you're standing here to look at it and that you're weren't in that fire. I mean, it's just, yeah. I can't believe it. I've never seen anything like this.
We've seen a
and
couple
it's
people
very
walk by.
spot.
Well, you know, Brooks, I mean, here we see a lady kind of walking up onto the burned area. We see more people coming our way. Any chance you might be able to ask in a sensitive way if they might be able to share with us their experience, what they're doing here? Perhaps did they work here? Did they live in the area? Get
Yeah,
their
absolutely.
stories for us?
Yeah, let me ask. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Are you from this area?
Yeah, I am.
So when you look at this, what do you think?
I mean, it's just devastating. This is something you might expect out of Southern California, but I mean, we're in a neighborhood right now. I don't even know how.
And this is your neighborhood?
I mean, I'm from pretty close to here, just a few miles away, so it's really devastating. I mean...
Have you ever seen anything like this? Because just seeing things still burning, leveled like this, what goes through your head?
You know, my friend is evacuating her elderly mother and her dog from her neighborhood. She thinks her house is gone. I mean, she's lived in that house for over 20 years. There's photos, there's jewelry, there's things that like memories that can never be replaced. It's terrible. It's really terrible.
And for it to happen just so quickly overnight like this.
You know, it's amazing because I was driving home last night and it was so incredibly windy. Things were blowing everywhere and it was crazy because I had just been at the beach earlier and it was a beautiful, calm day. And so we were all commenting on how windy it was, and then this morning you just wake up and this stuff is still falling down behind us. I mean, the devastation's not over.
You know, from yesterday when you were thinking about that wind and everything, did it ever cross your mind that, oh boy, there could be some danger here?
No, not at all. And I mean, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but I have a very close friend that I live with who is a firefighter, and he thinks that somebody started these fires on purpose. He said, you know, fires like this in all these multiple different locations, that just doesn't happen. He said that people who are arsonists look for really windy conditions, they wait for it, and then they start stuff like this.
I'm sure your friend is out here now, one of the many who is trying to get this thing under control. You know, has you talked to him to get a sense of what it's like since he's been out here trying to fight this?
Well, I know earlier he was trying to go to Napa because we have multiple friends in Napa who actually own vineyards, and they can't get through, so they're focusing more on the local areas. But I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that's, I mean, there's no firemen out here. There's too many other things burning down, so they don't have enough help for sure.
It's pretty crazy seeing all of these fire trucks just rushing by us, and when you have flames right in front of us.
Yeah, it looks like something out of a movie. I mean, I can't believe it. I've never been close to anything like this before. I've never been this close to anything. This is not where you expect a huge fire to be.
Well, thanks for talking with us, and I hope that you and your family stay safe, and hopefully you won't have to go through what some have gone through with losing their home or their belongings and memories.
My prayers are out there for everybody being affected.
All right, thanks so much. And if you look down here, there's still some traffic and things, and people are getting out of town, but we've seen people just kind of standing around pointing and looking and taking pictures and things. We have what you're hearing there. This is a sheriff's deputy, and there is a power line. There is a power line down right here on this street, and this street, Piner Road, is closed, and so they're trying to just do some control and make sure people are safe. I want to mention that I've lost hearing you guys back in the studio, so I don't have a way to chat back with you, but we'll check back in with you in a few minutes. We're going to go into this trailer park and try to see if there's anyone here who has come back to see what's left, if anything.
But we know that there are many. In fact, the National Guard has deployed 3 medevac helicopters to transport victims to burn centers. KPIX 5's Jackie Ward live in Santa Rosa now, where one neighborhood is gone. Jackie.
Ann and Liz, this neighborhood is just a cloud of smoke right now. We've been here for just about an hour, and my eyes are really burning from all of this devastation here. It's an incredible sight to see. We were on our way from Kaiser to Sutter Health because both of those hospitals had to evacuate their patients. But before we even got to Sutter, we found the remnants of this neighborhood called Coffey Park. It's in the northwest part of Santa Rosa. This was a neighborhood that was lined with beautiful homes. We spoke to one man who said he has many friends who grew up around here, and he hung out here a lot when he was little. He described it as the quintessential American neighborhood where you can come to ride bikes and hang out with your friends and families. Today, he is in disbelief of what this place looks like.
As far as I know, everybody got out. My home, my family is safe down in South Santa Rosa. This is devastating, though. It doesn't even look familiar. Used to hang out in this neighborhood a lot when I was younger, and I have an uncle who lives down the road, and it's terrible.
The gas lines appear to still be on here because we can see some pretty strong flames roaring from pipes, but as you can tell behind me, it is just amazing to see that there are fragments of homes left over. What used to be metal racks or washers and dryers, you can kind of make out the typical household appliances and belongings. And for the people who are walking around here, they're checking on their friends and families' homes to see if they're standing. But I have to tell you, from where I'm standing, we can't see a single home that survived this fire. We're going to get an update from a CAL FIRE public information officer in just a few minutes. He tells me that this is a result of the Tubbs fire. Back to you.
Many destroyed neighborhoods there are in and around
Same spot, Tom?
the city.
No, we moved, and you got to see this to believe this. I'm going to have Martin pan off to the left. You're looking at a neighborhood that goes block after block after block that is completely and totally and overwhelmingly destroyed. You rarely see anything like this. Now, you might see this out in the countryside somewhere, but in an urban area like this, to see this kind of fire, it really goes back to the days of the Oakland Hills fire. But this is in the flats here. The wind was blowing, and obviously this just became an incinerator. This is called Coffey Park. It's a part of Santa Rosa, not far from the freeway, and this place is just destroyed. There's really almost nothing left. We have some people walking up and down, some of them seeing their houses for the first time, breaking into tears, and just having a god-awful time. Now, if you come back around this way, Martin, what I want to do is kind of give people again the scape here. Look at the scope of this thing. This is so hard to believe because this was, 24 hours ago, this was a neighborhood. There are garbage cans out in the street waiting for pickup. There are cars that were here that people simply didn't have enough people to drive away. And you're looking at a scene that is probably reminiscent of hell. There's still some fires because the gas is still on, but again, the fire's not spreading anywhere. And when we take a look at this, it's amazing. Now, I'm going to ask Martin to take the camera off of the tripod, so it's going to jerk around a little bit here, but I want to show you something that's just amazing. We're going to walk down this hill now, and we're going to take a look at, the ironies around here are just hard to believe, but take a look over here on this corner. There's a house that has a for sale sign, and that house was a for sale. It's not even a house anymore, and we're seeing this literally every place you look. I see, actually, from where I'm standing, I see a row of houses over there, but for blocks and blocks, there is nothing but complete destruction here. And when you look at all of this destruction, you realize that these are people's homes. This is where they were living. This is what they abandoned yesterday because they had to, literally in the middle of the night, and they come back and see this. This is just one of the kind of worst scenes that you can possibly imagine. And this is what we're looking at. Coffey Park, near Santa Rosa's downtown, not terribly far away. And just look, I mean, yes, the cross streets here are Santiago and Camino del Prado. Not terribly far from the first neighborhood that we were in, but that was one where you had a square block that was just taken out. This one is block after block after block. It's really almost hard to imagine what's going on here, and the loss of property here is easily in the hundreds of millions of dollars, easily. And the damage to the infrastructure and everything else, this is going to take a long, long time to fix. And I mean, you just look at it and you realize how bad can actually be. And people are walking around. Some people are looking around. As I said, they came back to their houses, but people are walking around. Many of them just, I wouldn't say it's shock, but just like in shock disbelief that this much damage could happen this quickly in such an urban area as this. Santa Rosa is no little town. It's a very sizable city, and here you have this kind of destruction going on. So what we will do is we will obviously keep looking for more of this. We may have to spend hours in this neighborhood alone because I say you're just the view from one corner. You can hardly see anything but just total destruction. So that is the situation. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them.
Tom, what you're showing us kind of just tells me the story of what those residents faced last night. You know, they really had no chance to get anything. I mean, it was live or die. Get in the car and go.
And I'm telling you something, that is exactly right, because when you take a look at some of these trees, like look at this one over here. This tree was a pine tree. Look at it. It's just hardly anything left just at the very top, and that's all ashes. Look at all these trees. This was a firestorm of the first water. I mean, it's hard to believe just how much this fire happened. Now look over here to the right at this very, very tall tree, and you can see that that was a pine tree, but it was taken out, and that's got to be a good 50, 60 feet above the ground at the very least. And all of these trees are destroyed, so they're not going to come back. They're going to have to come in here and do all the other things that they have to do, but this is pretty much total destruction. You can't destroy this much more than this is destroyed.
Flames burning homes and businesses across the California wine country.
At least 14 separate fires are burning right now, and now the race is on to save lives.
Hundreds of buildings have burned, even a Hilton hotel in Sonoma, as reporters watched.
If you take a look back behind me now, you can actually see these are what's left of the hotel rooms. We've been hearing glass shattering and parts of the building are falling and collapsing. We've been hearing it since we've been standing out here. And if we take a look over to the left, you can actually see what's left of the lobby building. You can see that the roof is engulfed in flames right now on one end.
And it's not just happening in Northern California. A fire in Anaheim is clouding the skies above Disneyland. For more on the growing threat, let's head to CBS 2's Danielle Nottingham. Danielle.
Well, Maurice and Christine, so far we know of one death, and simply put, the damage here is amazing. Take a look behind me. This is a neighborhood. Not one house is still standing. You can see chimneys. You can see the pile of rubble. This goes on for blocks. And officials here say firefighters are facing conditions they've never seen before.
As wildfires roar in Northern California, people are scrambling to save their homes.
I feel panic-stricken. It's just so scary.
There's not much left of this Sonoma County neighborhood after a wildfire tore through. This man had just enough time to rescue a picture of his grandparents before fleeing his home in Santa Rosa.
The fire just jumped. It jumped, and one house would go, and then another one, and the embers and the wind was the difference.
Nearby, crews evacuated hundreds of patients to safety from 2 hospitals early this morning.
The fire started in several locations overnight in Napa County and here in Sonoma County. And right behind me, you can see fire is still ravaging the Hilton Hotel, which is now just a pile of rubble.
Gusts of up to 70 miles an hour are fanning the flames. High temperatures and low humidity are all adding up to perfect conditions for wildfires.
There were separate fires that started. The cause is all under investigation, so I have no idea what caused these fires at this point.
In Napa, residents also scrambled to safety with little warning.
The fireman was right there. He said, "You have to go right now." So we went with what we had, and we took the dog, and that's it.
Fire officials say with the fire moving so fast, crews are saving lives first before homes and businesses.
Very conservative estimates are that over 1,500 homes and commercial facilities have been destroyed.
State officials say it's all hands on deck to put the fires out.
Another live look here in Santa Rosa. Most of the items in this rubble unrecognizable other than the chimney, and officials are telling people who evacuated this area not to come back. Their first concern right now is saving lives and making sure people are sheltered. Live in Santa Rosa, California, Danielle Nottingham, Maurice and Christine.
Yeah, we are. This is Mendocino Avenue, right off of Highway 101. If anyone is familiar with this area, kind of the north part of Santa Rosa. And boy, take a look across the street from us here. You see two large hotels that have been destroyed by this fire. Up above there, you can see the Hilton there. That's the Hilton Hotel sitting there on that hillside. Still some thick black smoke coming from this hotel at this hour, however many hours after the fire swept through here. And then also right down below the Hilton is the Fountain Grove Inn Hotel that has also been leveled by this fire. This was, by all accounts, an absolute firestorm driven by those powerful winds. It blew through here in the overnight hours. It came from the hills east of Santa Rosa and just kind of swept right into town with very little warning. We can assume, I don't have any confirmation, we can assume that everybody was able to make it out and be evacuated from these two hotels. But certainly in many areas, people said they didn't get much warning, they didn't get much time. Now, obviously, this is not an active firefighting situation right here, but there are still neighborhoods where this fire is moving through those neighborhoods. And I want to take you to one of them right now with some video here. Let me show you what is going on. This was taken not long ago in the Hidden Valley neighborhood, where one of the leading edges of this fire is burning right through there and is destroying homes right now. People are packing up their cars, and they are evacuating as we speak in the Hidden Valley neighborhood. We took this video as firefighters were trying desperately to save one particular home right off of Sleepy Hollow Drive. Many other homes on that block were destroyed, and neighbors were telling me the further you went up into those hills, more and more homes were gone. Dozens of homes likely had been lost in that particular neighborhood, and the fire still on the move there. So that's where the concern is. The most pressing issues for firefighters here in the Santa Rosa area. This fire still is actively burning in many neighborhoods after destroying so many homes and so many businesses and so many pieces of property and so many hotels like these all across this city.